Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3834. Sorry, 35. It's a 34. It's a 35. Yeah, it's a 35. Today's date is January 22, 2000. Wait. Okay, yeah. I don't know why, but every time I kind of like be recording Artifact na, I just try to look for the date and kind of like I'm stuck into the notification things like that, because kind of like I was like, whatever. Okay, let's start from beginning. Hello, this is the My Artifact episode number 3835. Today's date is January 22, 2026. It has been almost like a night at 8:52 p.m. Alright, let's just jump into the question. Let's go. Alright, the question is, what matter more to me at this stage? Follower, income, or quality of my work? Oh, that's a really good question. Alright, yeah. First of all, what exactly is this question and why am I asking this question to myself? This is a YouTube kind of like question. It's very hard to describe. It's a kind of like a thing that I want to be a YouTuber, okay, and I am asking this kind of like a question so that I would understand myself that am I even worthy enough to call myself as a YouTuber or not, okay, yeah, and that's why it's kind of like these are kind of like questions, okay, yeah. So like in short, basically in short, worthy enough means what? Basically is this in basically is this in ki, like if you want to be engineer, then you have to do engineering na, okay, yeah. Basically is this in ki if you want to become any kind of like a particular person, you want to need a kind of like information regarding about that particular skill or things that you want to be, okay, yeah. And this is what kind of like a artifact is, this is what kind of like the YouTube is. I want to be a YouTuber, so I just need to understand the every aspect of YouTube and what is actually been through, what is actually YouTube and things and that and stuff like that. So yeah, all right, okay. Now regarding about the question says that, wait, what makes me more important at this stage? Follower, income, or quality of life? Okay, what do really require? Do I need? Okay, yeah. Okay, so let me tell you one thing regarding about me, regarding about my content. Okay, I am a YouTuber. I kind of like create a content regarding about Photoshop, photography, graphic designing, kind of like assembly, yeah, specifically basically this is in ki I'm specifically kind of like creating a content regarding about visual storytelling, okay, yeah. This is a kind of like assembly the genre that I have, okay. It's very hard to explain that what kind of like a content that I'm making. It's a kind of like assembly the mix of Photoshop, mix of graphic designing, mix of visual storyboard, and mix of kind of like a creativity and things and that and then I execute that particular piece of content, okay, yeah. And I kind of like create this content, okay, yeah. I may mostly focus on kind of like a short form of creating content, not long form. Why not long form? Long form kind of like a content is that ki probably at this moment, okay, for this genre, specifically this genre, it like that na ki I uploaded kind of like a long form of video, but probably is this thing na ki long form of video is something that ki okay, what I'm trying to tell you is this thing, okay. Why do I make short form of video? Okay, yeah. What is why what is actually why am I kind of like making the short form of content? Okay, so the genre that I'm kind of like assembly the genre that I'm kind of like creating, basically the video is actually about a kind of like a particular genre. Okay, yeah. Now my genre, this is a kind of like genre, is a kind of like a something like that ki it's not really feel really impact when you kind of like make a long form of video. in a short form of video, you kind of like give that particular impact and things like that. It's a very hard to explain this kind of like a audio artifact thing. Okay, so what exactly is in my content is that ki, like basically I have kind of like idea, like today I kind of like idea regarding about that ki people are kind of like a use when they kind of like need it, and then after that they kind of like a betrayal, they kind of like somebody just like basically they just forget about you and things and that. Okay, like basically people are using when they have interest, and that's it. Okay, yeah. So, and this is a real fact, by the way. Okay, so I wanted to execute this thought process in visual storyboard. So how do I supposed to execute that thing? So I kind of like somebody took a photo that I was kind of like somebody sitting on the knee. Okay, yeah. Then I took the another photo that I was kind of like standing and kind of like grabbing something. Okay, yeah. So my idea was that I wanted to kind of like visualize the image where a one person kind of like somebody like a kind of like somebody on the knee. Okay, another person is kind of like somebody standing on that particular person and kind of like try to grab the mango. Okay, yeah. And when he grabbed the mango, what does he did is that he just kind of like somebody stay on the branch, and he never he didn't really pass the mango to the bottom guy or things like that. Okay, yeah. So this kind of like image represent that ki a kind of like a something people are kind of like utilizing for their interest, and after they got the interest they don't really care about you and things and that. Like this image kind of like resonate that particular thing. I kind of like took the photo, I use kind of like a Gemini to kind of like create these graphics which kind of like a really good. Okay, and I kind of like create this, like this is kind of like a genre that I'm kind of like making. Okay, yeah. Now what I'm trying to tell you is this thing impact. Okay, yeah. So in the long form of video, there is like basically in this particular genre, if I wanted to make a kind of like a long form of video, what kind of like a long form of video I should supposed to make? Only one thing, tutorial, na? Obviously. Like basically I have to kind of like a tutorial regarding about how do I supposed to make it and things and that. And I already make the tutorial. I already have a tutorial regarding about everything and things and that. Okay, yeah. Like basically is this thing, like basically in my genre, the step is kind of like a very much similar. Like basically I'm not kind of like a really expert in Photoshop, I'm not kind of like doing any kind of like a technical and things and that, nothing really at all. Like every post I'm actually uploading is kind of like something represent the creativity that I have. Okay, yeah. And how do I supposed to kind of like teach creativity? It's not. Okay, it's a kind of like a thought process. Okay, yeah. Like there is only one thing that people just don't know about is the creativity. The rest of the thing is kind of like a very much common. Like basically, like I can kind of like make this image from the Gemini. Everyone can make the image from Gemini. Okay, yeah. I use kind of like a detail prompt. Everyone can use a detail prompt and things like that. It is really essential that idea, that how do you supposed to kind of like assembly execute the idea and things and that. What the fuck is this thing? Like I actually got the mail from today, like a successful transaction on super profile after the last exam ebook. Your purchase was successful. Now you have access after the exam. Access your purchase. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay, this is okay, sorry. Okay, so basically, okay, it's a very different thing. I don't know, I thought that it's a kind of like a scam, somebody scam email or things and that. Whatever. Okay. So what was I? Okay, but why I got the mail? Wait, is it? Oh, sorry. Like, I should supposed to be remove this account. Like my brother's account is in my mobile phone, and I think that I should supposed to be remove this. That's why I kind of like got the mail and things and that. Okay, can I able to do this thing? Yeah, I have to go to the setting, go to the account, ACC. Oh, okay, account and scan. Okay, and there is a Google account, and there is a, yeah, this is more. It's a scan now. No, I don't want to scan. How do I supposed to remove the Google account? There is only add account. Whatever, I'm gonna talk about later this thing. Okay, So this is my kind of like assembly content, and as also is, as I mentioned, is this thing, if I wanted to make a long form of video, only tutorial is the only kind of like a thing that I could make a long form of video. And in the long form of video, in the tutorial, there is no kind of like a one specific thing and stuff like that, and every process is kind of like a bit different. Like basically this thing is only creativity. Okay, yeah, that is the only one thing that kind of like feels a little different and things and that. And that's why the long form video is not really that much impactful and things and that and that. But short form of video is kind of like a bit more impactful. Okay, yeah, because it kind of like represent the creativity as quickly as fast as it can. So that's some kind of like a bit really focus on short form of content. Okay, yeah. So this is my piece of content. This is kind of like the content that I'm making. Okay. Now another thing is that ki what do I need? Okay, do I need a new follower? Yes, I need a follower. Okay, yeah, but I also understand that ki I will not gonna get follower if I just say this thing. Definitely not. It is really essential to me to kind of like simply make my quality of the work improve. Okay, yeah, and basically is this thing since the beginning of this year, I'm kind of like utilizing AI a lot. Okay, like basically I was kind of like using AI a lot. Okay, yeah, but like since like a last kind of like a couple of months, I'm kind of like using AI, kind of like generating kind of like image through AI and things and that and that. Okay, like a couple of months, like basically since the like November, yeah, like last year November, like basically November or maybe December probably, yeah. I'm kind of like simply creating this piece of content through AI and things and that, which is really good. Today, like basically couple of days ago, I was kind of like started using video generation through AI, which is also even better. The quality is also really increased. Okay, yeah, and also it kind of like simply shown the reflection on my analytics. In my analytics, kind of like people are kind of like watching videos, which is kind of like really good. Okay, more and more people are kind of like watching those videos and things and that. It felt really good. Okay, yeah, but it is really essential to me to kind of like simply focus on quality of the work, because the follower will gonna increase throughout the time. Okay, yeah, and regarding about the income, like basically what exactly is this thing now? Key all our thing are interconnected. Okay, yeah, like basically is this thing, if you increase the quality of the work, you not only increase the new follower as well as you actually increase the your monthly income too. By the way, till now I'm not earning any kind of like money, but still is this thing key, you are actually focused on kind of like a quality of the work, then like basically your follower will gonna increase, the follower will gonna increase, the new income will gonna increase. Okay, yeah. So right now what is actually kind of like one of the really essential thing at the moment is that key kind of like a quality of the work, and that is a kind of like only utmost essential thing at the moment, and I'm kind of like want that thing. Okay, I thought that I would kind of like simply explain this like a I don't know, some like basically I thought like basically I just end this question very quickly. Like it's been almost like a 13 minute and 24 second. May I kind of like simply ask another question? Yeah, let's ask another question. Okay. Okay, the another question is that, am I emotionally ready to work consistently for a month without payment or recognition? Oh my god. Literally, like this question is kind of like like a very very connected with me. Okay, yeah. Like okay, let me tell you one thing. Okay, yeah. I am actually doing this YouTube for almost like a 4 or 5 year. Okay, yeah. I started this thing in August 2021. Okay, yeah. Until now, it's been almost like a 4 year, yeah, 4.5 year probably. Okay. Until today, I am not earning any single amount of money from YouTube. Nothing really at all. I'm kind of like somebody, yeah. And I also understand why I didn't really earn money is because of I make a lot of mistakes. Okay. Within this 4 year, I kind of like somebody change my genre 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. Like first, I was kind of like somebody creating travel videos. Then after that, I was kind of like creating gaming content creation. And then after that, I kind of like realized that key Photoshop, photography, these are kind of like simply content that I should supposed to execute, and these are kind of like content that I'm making. Like basically is this thing na ki from this last 4 year, 4.5 year or 5 year, I fail a lot. I understand more about myself a lot regarding about this content creation journey and things and that. Like basically, I know I am a kind of like always been a filmmaker, but it's kind of like a something very different than kind of like YouTube and filmmaking is a kind of like a two different thing. And I thought that YouTube and filmmaking is a kind of like a very same thing, but that is not. That is definitely not. Like a entire methodology change. Everything will gonna change. The scripting, designing, the camera work, everything will gonna change. Like basically, it's a kind of like a same medium format. It's a kind of like a same format, but it's a very different. That the kind of like simply the way that it kind of like a process is kind of like a bit more different. Okay, yeah. In the movies, you have to be think about story, cinema work, camera angle, execution, music, and everything. And it take times. Okay, editing. It take times. So much amount of time. But in the YouTube video, you don't really have a time. Like you just want to upload your video like once in a week or maybe kind of like within a 2-3 day. So basically, you cannot able to kind of like do all those things within 2-3 day. You can't. Okay, yeah. So because of this thing now, you have to eliminate couple of processes. First process is that try not to move your camera, things and that. Like basically, is this thing talking head video? Make a kind of like a talking head video or kind of like a things. It would be kind of like a bit more better. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that basically hire a kind of like a particular person or editor who could kind of like edit the video as quickly as possible. Also, do not make the kind of like a long video, because if you make the long video, you cannot able to kind of like simply execute on the time. Your maximum time is kind of like a 10 minute or maybe 12 minute, like a max to max 15 minute. You cannot able to extend your time more than 15 minutes, because if you try to extend your time, like if you kind of like decided that I wanted to make a video of half an hour, then probably it will gonna take like a week or maybe kind of like 10 days to kind of like complete your video and things and that. Okay, yeah, so you are kind of like bounded towards the time, as also kind of like is this thing that you have to execute this thing with the scripting and kind of like somebody shoot and kind of like edit. Like basically is this thing in the filmmaking, you went through kind of like a multiple process, like basically first scripting, designing, planning, execution, like a pre-production. There is a kind of like so many works and things and that. But in the YouTube, you have to kind of like simply script, shoot, edit, done. Okay, yeah, and this is kind of like a 3-step that you have to go through this thing. Okay, and basically this thing you have to keep doing this cycle like every day, probably every day. Yeah. So basically this thing in the filmmaking process, you are kind of like your product will gonna release after kind of like a couple of months and things and that. But in this YouTube, you have to focus on kind of like assembly within a 2-3 days and things, which is kind of like assembly very much. Yeah. Basically, is this thing na ki I am a filmmaker, like I wanted to be a filmmaker, and because of I'm kind of like a really attracted towards the filmmaking process, so I just kind of like understand this filmmaking thing and that. But I was completely not really sure regarding about the YouTube thing. Okay, I thought it's a kind of like simply making the video kind of like equality, kind of like simply same as kind of like simply the film, but that is not. That is definitely not. Okay, yeah. You have to kind of like execute your video as quickly as possible as it can. Okay, yeah. One thing, if you have kind of like a short form of video, then obviously you have to upload your video every single day. Every single day, short form of video, you should supposed to upload your video every single day. Now, this is what it is. Another thing is that and because of this kind of like I'm not like there are so many kind of like things that I learned regarding about the YouTube from last 5 years regarding about everything, why I fail, things and that. By the way, I also not really kind of like somebody tell myself or kind of like assure myself that I do know everything regarding about YouTube. I do not know everything about YouTube, nothing really at all. Like basically this thing, there is only one thing that I know to grow on the YouTube is that be consistent. And I am being consistent for last 5 years. Like basically I'm gonna make sure that I should supposed to upload my video every single day, and that's what I'm doing for last 5 years. If you're not believing me, till today I uploaded 19,000 videos. 19,000 videos. Okay, you can add more, like basically maybe like not 19,000, sorry, 9,000 video that I uploaded in all my channel, like on all my channel means like combine, like basically how many channel do I have? Like I have Artifact, I have kind of like a short form gaming content channel, Prozac 1943 game, then Prozac 1943, and then Saurabh Bauthare. So these are 4 channel do I have. Okay, yeah, in this 4 channel I uploaded almost like a 9,000 videos till now. Okay, yeah. So so basically is this thing that key, yeah, okay. By the way, it's not kind of like simply for the YouTube, like basically is this thing the 4,000 video that uploaded on the Artifact, those are kind of like simply not video, those are the audio. Artifact is a kind of like a thing, it's a very different story. Artifact, I will gonna talk about this thing, but yeah, I kind of like upload those things on YouTube, and then it's a lot of thing, dude. Okay, I'm not kind of like a bragging about myself that I kind of like uploaded that many amount of video and things and that. But is this thing na ki I uploaded this much kind of like a video? Yeah, I am kind of like a bragging that I'm uploading that much amount of video. Fuck. Okay, but yeah, this is what I understand, being consistent and being kind of like simply upload the video every single day. That's it. This is the kind of like a mantra that I kind of like know about the YouTube and things and that. And from last 5 years, I am not earning any single amount of money. No, nothing really at all. But still, I am doing this. Still, I'm kind of like simply focus on execution to do my stuff and things and that. So yeah, okay, yeah. So the question is that ki, basically is this thing, am I emotionally ready to work consistently for a month without payment or recognition? I think yes. Like basically this is what I'm doing right now. Okay, yeah. I'm kind of like somebody emotionally kind of like a ready and kind of like doing with all my efforts and things and that. Yes, I'm doing it that. Okay, yeah. By the way, there are so many questions, which is really good. Okay, yeah. But right now I just have to end here. All right. So this is it, and thank you.